Example here, x divided by x squared minus 9. So first thing you should do is factor. And this factors into x minus 3 and x plus 3. And so that's part A. Determine holes or vertical asymptotes is B. Okay, we didn't cross anything out, so there are no holes. This will have two asymptotes at x equals 3 and x equals negative 2. So x equals 3 and x equals negative 2. Okay. Part C says use the end behavior to determine whether it has an asymptote or oblique asymptote. So C, we have 0x squared over 1x squared, which means our asymptote is going to be at y equals 0. D says find the x-intercepts, which is where y equals 0. So if what numbers would I put in to have y equals 0? The only number I would put in is 0. That would turn the whole numerator to 0. E is actually going to be quite the same, 0, 0. So I have a point there. And then F is determine positive and negative. So remember, this is the stuff that we've already done where you make your number line with your critical points. So mine are 0, should be a 3. This should be a 3. And we're going to pretend this is a 3 here. Made a mistake there. Okay, so plus and minus 3 should be my asymptotes. Negative 3, 0, and 3 will go here. Let's see, if I plug in a negative number like negative 4, I'd get negative, positive, positive, positive. And then I multiply, so 3 negatives make a negative, positive, negative, and positive. All right, so I've got my landmarks in here, everything I can get in, cross at 0, 0. So it looks like I'm negative up to negative 3, so I'm going to be down in this corner here. Okay. And then I'm positive and turn negative. It's going to go like this, hug these asymptotes, and the last bit is positive, and will look like this. And the next one, A is to factor. So if I factor out an x, I'm left with this. So x plus 3, x minus 2, and x plus 3, and x plus 1. So I do cross one off. So at B, I have a hole at x equals negative 3. To find the y, I plug it in to what's left. So I'll have negative 3 times negative 3 minus 2 all over negative 3 plus 1. So that's negative 3 times negative 5 over 2. So 15 halves is what I get. Okay, so when I'm graphing that, that's like 7.5. So negative 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 will be my whole. And then it has an asymptote at x equals negative 1. Okay, and that's from the one we didn't cross off. C, so I have x cubed over 0x cubed. When the top is 1 bigger than the bottom, you have a slant asymptote. This is where we use synthetic division. So I'm going to try to do this in a different color. What I have left here, what I didn't cross off, and if I multiply x times x minus 2, I'm left with x squared minus 2x, and the denominator is x plus 1. These are what I'm going to divide into each other. So I'm going to put negative 1 in the corner, and then my coefficients are 1, negative 2, and 0, because I have like plus 0x minus 3. And remember, we don't care what the remainder is. I care about this. So x minus 3 is my slant asymptote. So at negative 3, I'm going to plot a point and then up 1 over 1. Okay, so this is my slant asymptote here, kind of in light blue. D is what can I plug in? Oops. What can I plug in to turn the whole thing to 0? I could plug in 0 and I would get out 0. I could also plug in positive 2 because that would turn my numerator to 0, and I've already dealt with negative 3. E is when I plug in 0, what do I get? And I get 3. I get 0 over 3, which is 0. Remember, I just kind of looked towards the end. F is increasing and decreasing. So my critical points in this one are 0 is one of them, negative 3, negative 1, and 2 should be also. I have x plus 3, x plus 3. Running out of room. X plus 1, x and x minus 2. And then I'm going to do this deal. Negative, and this will also be negative. So now we're good to graph. So it looks like between, wonder if I should have gotten, this doesn't look right, where my hole is, because between negative 3 and negative 1, I should be negative. Because this one should be 0, 0, 2, 0. Okay, so I need to figure out what I did wrong with the whole piece of it, because it's down here. Should be down here at least. Should be negative 2. There we go. That is where I made my mistake. So my hole should be down here. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5, and not up there. So I often use my part F as like a double check. Is it going to work out for me? And then I noticed that this was all negative down here, and I caught that because where this is negative, it means it wouldn't go through where my hole is, and that's how I knew I had to kind of come back and fix that piece.